You know, sometimes a game isn't just a game, it's a statement. And when Duke went to play Notre Dame, what we all witnessed became something historic. This wasn't a contest, it was a demolition. So let's break down how this absolute dismantling actually happened. Duke demolition. I mean, that's what the commentators called it. And really, what else can you say? Those two words just say it all. This wasn't just a win. It was this clinical, almost overwhelming display of force. So how did one of college basketball's biggest names deliver such a staggering message on the road? Well, it started right from the jump, from the very first possession. There was no feeling each other out, no slow start. Duke came out of the locker room with an intensity that just swallowed Notre Dame whole and set the tone for the entire night. And what's so wild is how they did it. This wasn't some complex, brand new strategy. Nope, Duke went back to basics, but with just brutal efficiency. We're talking the oldest play in the book, the give and go, and it led to this relentless series of thunderous dunks. The message couldn't have been clearer. We are gonna own you physically, right here in the paint. And that physical attack, it paid off immediately. I mean, before Notre Dame could even settle in and catch their breath, they were looking up at an 8-2 hole. The game was just a few minutes old, but the story for the night, yeah, that had already been written. But here's the thing. That early beatdown wasn't just a total team effort. No, it was led, it was absolutely spearheaded by one player who decided, you know what, I'm gonna put on a show tonight. Okay, just take a second and really let these numbers sink in. This is not a full game stat line. This is what Cameron Boozer did in the first half alone. 20 points, 9 rebounds. He was one single rebound away from a 20-10 half. That's a level of dominance you just don't see very often. It's absolutely ridiculous. And he wasn't just some big guy muscling his way inside. He was the first player in the game to hit double digits. And he was doing it from all over the court. He was even stepping out and draining a three with confidence. He was, without a doubt, the engine making that whole Duke offense go. But look, this is college basketball. And teams, especially home teams, they have pride. Notre Dame was getting pummeled, but they didn't just roll over and die. For a little while, for a brief moment, they showed some real life and started to punch back. And that fight, it almost all came from one man, Cole Serta. With Duke just raining fire, Serta basically decided to take matters into his own hands. He ripped off 7 straight points for the Fighting Irish, and he did it by attacking the rim, by being aggressive. He was trying to single-handedly will his team back into this thing. It was a really valiant effort, you know? A little spark of hope for that home crowd. But against the sheer force that Duke was bringing, you really had to ask yourself, was it going to be enough? Was this little run really going to be enough to stop the bleeding? And the answer, sadly, for Notre Dame was a huge, emphatic no. Because Duke didn't just come out of halftime to coast on their lead. Oh no. They came out to turn a blowout into something for the history books. The floodgates completely opened. And here, right here, is where the game went from just a beatdown to a historic statement. Duke was already up by a massive 32 points at the half. Most teams would take their foot off the gas. Not this Duke's team. They came out and actually grew the lead, finishing with a 44-point margin of victory. That's not just playing out the clock, my friends. That is a stone-cold killer instinct. So how did they pile it on like that? They just unleashed an absolute barrage from three-point land. It became a party. You had Isaiah Evans hitting them, Darren Harris, Caleb Foster. One after another, they were just knocking them down, turning a really big win into a completely unforgettable rout. So, when that final buzzer finally sounded, what we were left with wasn't just a score. It was a verdict. It was a statement that was heard far, far beyond that arena. 100-56. Just let those numbers sit there for a second. To hit 100 points in a road conference game is one thing. To win by 44, that is just staggering. But this is the knockout punch. This is the stat that puts this whole game into the history books forever. This wasn't just a bad loss for Notre Dame. It was their worst loss on their own home floor since the 19th century. We are talking about over 120 years of basketball. That is just, it's unbelievable. And so that leaves all of us with this huge question. Was this just a perfect storm? A one-off, crazy night where every single shot fell for Dukes? Or was this a terrifying preview of what this team is actually capable of? a glimpse of a true championship contender finding its rhythm at the absolute perfect time. And that's the thought we're going to leave you with.